Be blessed by the divine. Are you struggling to find happiness? Let me tell you what happiness is all about. There are two kinds of happiness. One is pleasure based. Another one is peace and ecstasy based. Bear with me while I explain this. My favorite sweet made by my mother gives me pleasure. My favorite color dress owned by my wife gives me pleasure. My favorite story enjoyed by my child gives me pleasure. The favorite imaginary game that I play with my grandson gives me pleasure. This is momentary. The happiness that I enjoy from these pleasure-giving activities gives me happiness, of course, but this is momentary. My happiness is put in an external object or an experience or a person. Same thing done in a different setting with a different object or with a different person may not give me the same pleasure. Same thing done with the same person with lesser intensity may also not give me the same pleasure and therefore gives me less happiness. I can enjoy the sweet made by my mother to a certain extent. Perhaps I can enjoy 2, 3, 4 of those sweets. But beyond that, the same sweet becomes bitter and I don't like it. Happiness becomes pain or sadness or no more pleasure. There is a limit and a moderation to these external pleasure-giving happiness. But there is peace, there is ecstasy on the other end of our mind. This can only be reached by reducing the frequency of the mind, fixating our mind on that eternal primordial force. By realizing that the other end of the mind is Almighty Consciousness, and it is this consciousness that is functioning within us as our intellect, as our discriminatory power, helping us to choose goodness over evil or pain-giving actions. This realization gives us happiness. But this happiness is internal. This happiness is bliss. This happiness stems from peace. Peace comes from realizing our true inner worth. This can only be possible by reducing the mental frequency, by fixating our mind on our own life force, going from active beta to alpha, calm alpha, 14 to 40 cycles per second, even reducing from there to theta, 4 to 7 cycles, and further from there to delta, 1 to 3 cycles per second. And this is possible only through Kundalini Yoga, Kundalini meditation. I really wish and I really think that you can gain a lot by learning Kundalini Yoga in a systematic, simplified manner. Whichever is the system that you are following, make sure that it is safe and practice Kundalini Yoga every day without fail. Reduce your mental frequency, wean your mind away from external pleasure-giving activities. Do not put your happiness in the hands of external objects or people or experiences. Preserve it inside you. Nurture that peace. It's an attitude. You wake up in the morning, you tell yourself, today I am going to be peaceful. My mind's frequency is going to be reduced. I'm going to remain at alpha, theta, delta frequency, remain one with that almighty force. And in that, I am going to remain in an ecstatic, peaceful blissful state of always being happy, you will never struggle, will you? Let me know what you think. Be blessed by the divine.